When Todd Howard sat down and made the decision, yeah, I'm gonna make him pay for the horse armor, do you think he knew what his creation would become? Did the mobile game developers know just how much their funny little mobile games would be twisted and distorted into displays of greed and sin previously only conceptualized in the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch? How microtransactions would rip and tear the gaming industry apart, distorting and contorting game development to focus on the question of how many times can we get the player to spend their money? Microtransactions have come a long way from those early days. From their humble beginnings as simple cosmetics to now being the entire basis of the game in their penultimate form, gacha games. And you want to know the worst part? Apparently as an adult I'm expected to spend my own money for the pretty PNGs, and I think that's kind of bullshit. Welcome to Honkai Star Rail, the latest from gacha overlords themselves, miHoYo. And before I say anything nice about this game, I am morally obligated to remind you, this game wants your money! As much as you're willing to fork over. This also means that a few systems are affected by this, mainly the Eidolon superimposition system and the Trailblazer power system. The Trailblazer system is the energy resource system of this game, which has gotten better since launch, I will admit, but the fact that it exists at all annoys me. The Eidolon superimposition system is where after you pull a character or light cone for the first time, each subsequent pull of said character or light cone will buff it in a certain way. You know, basic pay to win shit. And aside from that, there's the whole gacha pulling system, but hey, I would hope that if you decided to play a gacha game, you were aware of this beforehand.
Nice.
This game is a turn-based RPG, and an incredibly slick one at that. In battle, you've got the usual elemental weakness and affinity system, you've got character-based abilities, you've got pre-fight buffs, and you've got this funny little button that once you turn on, you cannot turn off. There are a couple of main avenues of content that you will be playing, namely the story, simulated universe, the relic and material farm, and the Forgotten Hall. The relic and material farms are auto battles that you'll do repeatedly, chasing after that god roll relic and the mats you need to level up your character's items and light cones. The simulated universe is part relic farm, part roguelike dungeon crawler. You will be spending a lot of time here in the endgame, so the roguelike elements are really appreciated. The Forgotten Hall is effectively just a dick measuring contest that gives you extra rewards. And all of these together are the grind. Aside from the grind, you've got... Okay, so before I begin, let's go over some background knowledge. This game is the third, potentially fourth game in the wider HoYoverse, and that means there is some established lore here that this game draws from. In this universe, there are two main forces, the imaginary tree and the Sea of Quanta. In real simple terms, the tree is effectively the force for order, and the sea is the force for chaos. As the names imply, these two forces don't really like each other and are constantly trying to destroy each other, which is somewhat bad, seeing as the leaves on the tree are every universe in the entire HoYoverse, but hey, universal balance and all that. Now in our leaf, Honkai Star Rail, there are these things called paths and aeons. Think of paths as a signifier of a character's overall personality or outlook on life. In universe, it's effectively the way of living that a character subscribes to, and out of universe, it's just shorthand for what role they play in battle. At the head of these paths are the Aeons. These are the incorporeal beings of immense power that are the embodiment of everything a path stands for and believes in. One of these Aeons is called Nanook, the Aeon of Destruction, and as his name implies, he believes the universe was a mistake and should be destroyed. To achieve this, he has an army called the Antimatter Legion that goes around being generally annoying, as well as scattering around the Cancer of Worlds, otherwise known as Stellarons. It's during just such an attack by the Antimatter Legion that Mother Dearest here uses one of those balls of universal cancer to give us life, and here is where our story starts.
Wait, stop it! They're awake!
So our amnesiac ass wakes up to Dan Hung giving us an up-close and personal wake-up call, and after a quick discussion about boundaries, we're promptly pointed towards a bat and told to start swinging. After some brief batting practice and tutorials, we meet the researchers of the space station, Asta, her puppy, her other puppy, and the doll. We also get properly introduced to the crew of the Astral Express, aka the Nameless, aka the main cast.
Anyway, at least you're back.
The owner of the Astral Express, Himeko, is the leader of the Nameless and an all-around train nerd, coffee snob, orbital laser owner, and walking emotional gut punch for every third impact player.
They're okay now. Let's talk somewhere else.
What in the all according to Keikaku motherfucker is that? Old man, ex-animator, friend, and honestly just an all-around cool guy, who also happens to be a retired god, instead of an emotional gut punch, Welt is more like a concerning question for third impact players.
Too bad Don Hung's not here. He's like a walking encyclopedia. He knows a ton of complicated stuff, maybe even elevator repair.
I don't know that one.
Dan Hung is the Astral Express's stoic bodyguard who, while appearing to be cool, calm, and collected on the outside, is actually just walking around constantly afraid of bald people. Nice.
Stay right there while I give you a present!
March 7th is the bubbly psychic whose warm personality was ironically found floating in space, frozen in magic space ice. Also, she's just a better Paimon. With the meet and greet out of the way, we get asked to continue swinging away at the antimatter crew to repel the invasion. We do such a good job, in fact, that Father Dearest ups his game and sticks a fucking space dragon on us. Now, being the main character, we of course kick the dragon's teeth in, but it's precisely at this point that dear old dad steps in and decides to send us nuclear for daring to talk back. Thankfully, the cool old man knocks us out and the crisis is averted. With this, the station is saved and we get asked to join the Nameless on their journey across the stars. Partially because of the prowess we just displayed, but mainly because, you know, we're a walking fucking nuke. Before this happens though, the doll takes us aside and uses us as a test dummy for a fun little pet project called the Simulated Universe. Now, while for the player this is just a place to grind for universal relics, in the story this is a simulation created by Herta in an attempt to talk to / understand the Aeons. To put that another way, Herta has created the Matrix to talk to gods, and some of them know they're in a simulation. So with that fun existential thought experiment forever scarring our psyche, our journey begins proper. Seeing as this is no longer the tutorial island of the game, I'd actually feel bad about spoiling the story past this point, so shotgun round. Go! Okay, so our train ride doesn't last very long as we immediately encounter Stellaron fuckery. You see, part of the whole Stellaron Cancer of Worlds thing is that they affect stuff around them to varying degrees, with one of these effects coincidentally being a disruption of the star rail. Combine that with the whole Akavili being dead thing, and this means that the star rail's kind of fucked for a while and we're stuck here. Eurillo 4. This place is kind of a mess. Due to the prolonged exposure of a Stellaron, this planet is almost completely covered in a perpetual blizzard, with there only being one bastion left standing against the cold. Bellabong. Unlike the rest of the planet, the city's actually kind of nice, at least on the surface. If I had to describe this place, I'd say it's like if a theatre kid put on a political thriller retelling of Das Kapital with a dash of mecha and a sapphic Romeo and Juliet subplot. That'll make sense when you play it, trust me. While here, meet such exciting characters as Eurillo 4's resident child terrorist. How the fuck does she not have frostbite? Nurse One-chan.
Just a little something.
Alcoholic. This joke has been retconned. She is just EP 16-year-old now. And the classic, history will say they were roommates. Witness firsthand the effects of class separation, partake in a small amount of government destabilization, and even remotely pilot a mech. Eurillo 4 has it all.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blame. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in the storming world somehow. I sheathe the sword not to kill. I sheathe the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up, the sun will gather now.
Next up, Cultivate a Cross Wuxia novel. Welcome to the Xianzhou Luofu, a floating civilization meandering through space in what is effectively a relentless, endless holy war. All because the Xianzhou Alliance is a devout follower of the Hunt Path, or they are now. Quick backstory time. Once upon a time, the people of the Xianzhou used to scour the stars in search of the cure for death, and in doing so, met Yao Shi of the Abundance, aka Sexy Nurgle. Yao Shi bestows this gift of immortality, and this goes about as well as it always does in fiction, and shit starts to go horribly wrong. It's at this point that Land of the Hunt shows up and destroys Yao Shi's big tree on the Xianzhou, saving them from the endless hedonism of immortality. After this, the Xianzhou swears endless loyalty to Lan and the Hunt Path, dedicating themselves to hunting down any remnants of Yao Shi and any followers of the Path of the Abundance. AKA, they literally scour the universe as a genocidal warrior cult on a warpath to eradicate a rival sect. While here, get gang pressed into working for the government, hunt down wanted criminals, do your best CIA impression and infiltrate a cult with slight domestic terrorist tendencies, cull the local wildlife, and even help the blind. Meet the locals: Fox Girl, Superior Fox Girl, Chicken Knight, Lightning Daddy, Lightning Child, and who could forget the local gambling addict. All this and more simply because Mum asked us to bust her friend out of the local maximum security prison. And that's Honkai Star Rail. I mean, obviously this is a really abbreviated overview, but you know what I mean. Play it, don't play it, spend money, don't spend money, it's up to you. You can play it free to play. I mean, if the bold man can, anyone can. But if I had to give it a score, I'd say I give it an... I enjoyed it enough to make this video out of some arbitrary yardstick that defines quality. So, while you mull over if you want to play it or not, if you'd excuse me, I need to go pull on the newest banner.